Hi, this is Judy Trusz, and I am about to take you through my learning walk of my unit in Module 7 of 632. And I did a unit for middle schoolers on coding with Ozobots. I think what struck me as I read the two articles that we were assigned this week was when I looked at Teachers Observing Teachers, a professional development tool for every school in education world, I was struck by how similar the approach was to the BDA instructional coaching cycle that I have been taught through PIC. I have been an instructional coach for 5 years, and let me show you how similar they are. The sequence for the learning walk is overview, observation, discussion, reflection, application. The BDA cycle is a before, a during, and an after meeting. At the before meeting, we do an overview. At the during meeting, we do an observation. And at the after meeting, we do a discussion and a reflection. And hopefully, the teacher will apply it. Another thing that I saw was one of the best ways to implement a learning walk would be to model. And I do that often as a coach. So that connection was very clear to me. As I take you through my unit, I am going to go through all the bullet points that Ollie suggested we talk about. So the first one is communication structures. And what I did is I began my first day, before the class with a Jamboard. And let me show you what this looks like. I want the students to complete that before they meet, where they just tell us their name and grade. Oh, I didn't mention I'm probably going to be using this as a summer camp. And then their favorite book or anything they know about Ozobots, what they're looking forward to, and do they have any concerns? So that's also an SEL strategy, but we'll get to those in a moment. During any of our Zoom meetings, here's my Zoom room, we will have questions. I'll have questions ready for them, and they'll also be talking with each other in pairs and assisting each other with debugging. So that's really the communication structure. The SEL strategies are the Jamboard, and then I have two check-ins. The first one is after we get into the first day, we're doing an activity where we go into these Ozobot challenges. So I'm going to take you there real quick. And students will be going to several of these. They're going to start here in Shape Tracer. And after they've gone through all of these levels, or even just a few of them, I have a checklist. Nope, not a checklist. That's not the one I wanted. Oops, I'm moving that around. Uh-oh. Gotta move that back up to here. Here's the check-in, and that's a Google form where I ask them if they're having any trouble, are they experiencing any issues, and this I would hope that they would complete during the asynchronous time in the afternoon, because how I'm going to set this up is a morning meeting for about an hour, maybe two, and then have the rest of the day to work asynchronously, and then come back each day in the morning and discuss and work on new things. I also added a end of unit journaling prompts where students can talk about their thoughts on coding, if they change during the unit, do they consider themselves a programmer, maybe what was the easiest or the most difficult task, or if they had an ability to change anything, what would it be, which may help me in the future to improve on this for students. So those are my SEL strategies. The standards, well, as I'm looking at the QM standards, I will point out that at the beginning, I have a course overview and I made a video introducing myself and the course and how to get into it. In this overview, I included many things. Let's see, how to get to it, who it's for, what they're going to be doing, what they need, computer wise, and then some class etiquette. So I feel like I covered the course overview and intro. And then for learning objectives, what I did is I have them all here listed, but also each day when they go into the day one learning target, it not only has the learning target, but it has the step-by-step directions for each day. So if we go into this, well, now that I see this, they can't really see all of this information. I guess if you go in here, there, they click into the look at the materials, then they can see the learning target for each day. So I think that's really clear, and I have taken my objectives and goals and turned them into student language with I can statements. So I have that for each day of the unit under, it's named day one, day two, through the whole thing and what their learning targets are. And then I have two assessments. I start with a pre-assessment, which is basically them just telling me what they already know about coding and Ozobots so that I have some idea of what they're comfortable with as a Google form. And then their big unit assessment is, I've written a rubric and I have the directions, and it is due 2 days or 2 classes after it is first given. Here is my performance assessment rubric. They have to build a program using many of the blocks that we have learned about. And I added to this some resources up at the top, just in case they have forgotten anything. Here we go. Ozobot resources that have all kinds of tutorials on all the different blocks that they need to use if at any point they were confused and need a refresher. All right, so that's assessment. And then instructional materials, I include, right there are some resources, but anything that they need is linked right to where they need it. Like here are all the Ozobot challenges. There's a link there to that. They continue that the second day. And then here's specifically how to get to this particular challenge. And then once they move on to the Ozoblockly editor, there's a link right there to that. And after they complete their performance assessment, the next day we talk about moving into text coding. And here is a link to that activity. So everything is available for them. Under course technology, I have posted at the top the standards. Here's the CSTA standards that will be used. Learner and instructor support, I don't have that specifically articulated because I feel like I will be meeting with them every day in a synchronous meeting, and I can share with them, answer many questions for them. But they do have my Zoom room, which is always available and access to me. The last thing is accessibility and usability. I think Google Classroom is pretty intuitive for students. I think that it is accessible and readable to students. And has an ease of use. But if there was anything I might need to improve upon, it might be in that category. All right, so after the standards, I already discussed the assessments, the revisions that I would make. Lastly, I would probably not house it on Schoology because I've had lots of issues with students not being able to access my Google Classrooms from their school Google accounts. And the other thing is, I do have an Ed puzzle in here that I found when people attempted to do this, that they didn't have access to the Ed puzzle that I thought they would have. So those would be the things that I would change. I hope to use this as a summer camp, either this summer or next summer through the IU, and take it out virtually throughout the whole state. So I know I won't be talking to you between now and then, but I do hope that that works out.